And members, this amendment just takes the money out of the Commission of Arts and reallocates it to other items in the budget. We've been here before a couple of times. It's been in and out of the budget. But bottom line, he's going to leave it up to the will of the House. In a time when we're facing teacher cuts, nursing home cuts, and Health and Human Services, mental health cuts, and been through this whole process, it's time we reprioritize where we spend our priorities, and that's what the amendment does.
Mr. Perry, I hear you, what you're saying, and I understand that there are decisions that have been made that are going to impact education, and they're going to impact our Health and Human Services department. But I think that what was brought up earlier is important to note, too, that this money goes to education. Much of this money does go in grants to various schools and performances for the children. And I just wanted to be sure you're aware, did you know that the children that are involved in the arts now, that their SAT scores actually are up 57 points higher on the verbal and 43 points up higher on the math? So this is an opportunity to acquaint these children with the arts and then hopefully get them involved in the arts through these grants that the state gives. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I am. There's no dispute the value of arts. There's no dispute that it has a role in our education system. At the same time, I know we have an education component of this. Some of this money is not directly related to education. And if you want to carve that piece that goes straight into our education system, then we might could talk about it. But again, it goes back to where we at as a state priority.
But you may not realize that it doesn't. You may say that it doesn't go to the arts, Mr. Perry. But do you realize that even if the grant goes to a symphony, which there has been money in the past that has gone to the symphony in Irving, what that symphony then does with it is performances for children in school. So it may not show that it goes to education, but it does in a roundabout way as well.
And the symphony in Lubbock holds a debutante ball, and that's where the bulk of their funds come from.
Yeah, you can. Mr. Coleman, for a purpose. Yeah, would the gentleman yield for a question? Perry, do you yield for a question?
I do.
First of all, I know you heard the questions that my colleagues asked, but as much as I'm for public health, but do you know that the human condition is what separates us from the animals?
I do.
And that the arts are what determines whether or not we understand what the human condition is?
Well, I think.
No, seriously, I'm not joking.
No, I agree. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
And that what we teach everyone through the arts, including children, is how to approach the human condition and to be better human beings.
Correct.
And don't you think that is as important as public health?
It absolutely is important.
And so as a part of our state budget, where we've reduced this fund down to the minimum that it can be reduced to, that our legislature and our state should be about supporting teaching the human condition?
Then what I would probably make a suggestion so that there is a transparency in the budget is that portion of the arts that directly affects our education system may be moved to the TEA and move underneath that umbrella. But this blanket of a category that's just for arts commission.
The problem with this is it unravels what makes us human beings, and it unravels our communities, and I suggest that people vote no.
I would hope that what makes us human beings is our family and interaction.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I gave a partial somewhat impassioned plea on behalf of the Texas Commission for the Arts. In 1989, my wife was named to the Commission for the Arts by the late Governor Clements. She rose to the ranks and ended up being chairman of the Commission for the Arts. So I was inundated and indoctrinated with what they do and how impactful they can be on the education of our kids and students in this state. They shifted most of the money out to the rural and the districts that needed it. They had matching programs in elementary schools, put teachers and artists and residents out there. It impacted the Panhandle, it impacted East Texas, it impacted Far West Texas. This program, as we heard in debate on House Bill 1, we have reduced it. It was under my subcommittee with Chairman Otto at Appropriations. We reduced it from over $12 million down to barely $2 million, and we picked that number because it kept them on life support and it allowed federal matching dollars to sustain. And we said it'll give you a chance to come back another day. Members, I move that we vote against this amendment.
Chair recognizes Representative Berman to speak against.
Mr. Speaker, members, I'll be very brief. We've taken this agency from $20 million down to $2.4 million. All of us, almost everyone in this room, has seen some benefit from the Commission on the Arts because they're very good about sending to you in your district an amount of money that was either given to a school or a symphony orchestra or to some other program in your district. To take this commission down to zero is ludicrous right now. We shouldn't be doing that. And I would strongly recommend that you vote against the Perry amendment.
Chair recognizes Dr. Zerwas to speak against.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members, and I do rise to speak against, and I'm going to make the motion to table this amendment. I'm not going to approach it from the standpoint of what the value of the arts are. I think that's been well articulated by my colleagues. What I do want to bring your attention to is where the money is going. So we're talking about $2 million going to mental health services for adults that already has $552 million in it. $2 million is an inconsequential amount of money that's going to have any impact on this particular strategy. The other one that's related to mental health services for children, $152 million. Again, this amount of money that's being transferred to children's at the expense of the arts and actually preserving the Commission of Arts is inconsequential when it comes to the delivery of these services to children. I think the state has adequately provided revenue for these particular areas. And with that, Mr. Speaker and members, I'd move to table this amendment.